एंजॉय करके आया, किधर घूम फिर के आया? हाँ, for how many days? 1 week. Okay. When your school is starting? 3 तारीख. Yes. इसका फ्रीडम चाहिए. Yes, yes. Enough minutes. 3:27. Okay. We have studied something about the gender. Gender. Gender equality. What is gender equality? Inequality. In the case of women society, feminism fights for women's rights. That is what to replace. Okay. In gender, we basically learned about the position of women in No, I spoke when I was that time also saying she was not finding. So that is why I asked her that you were reading. Yes, we have studied gender. That is what type of stereotypical thinking we have studied, and then what was the second term? Feminist. Morning onwards, feminist. Gender is. Biological division is the normal thing. Then social expectations. Then we have learned about so many ways the women are discriminated and all. Then what to be done we have solutions we have discussed. Then the next point we have next part we have started is about the communalism. Then we have studied that communalism is a thinking that certain community, that means communal people think that they are above or they are superior than others. This feeling is known as communalism. Having a religion is not at all bad, but when we keep our religion above others, see, that kind of thinking is not good for the society. So, what? How much you have written that communalism? Definition has been given. In What are communal thinking? You just write this point. Communal thinking. Right. What are communal thinking? Or how a communalist think? Communalist, not a communist. How communalist think? How a communalist think? First point, the followers of first point, the followers of a particular religion, the followers of a particular religion must belong to one community. Must belong to one community. Second point, their fundamental interests are the same any difference that they may have is irrelevant and trivial. Irrelevant and trivial for community life. Trivial for community life. Now, third point onwards, you start writing. It also follows. It also follows that people who follow different religions cannot belong to the same social community. Social community. Next point. In its extreme form, next point. In its extreme form, communalism leads to the belief that people belonging to different religions, people belonging to different religions cannot live as live as equal citizens within one nation. One nation. Coordination where I told you. Either of them, either the same point. You need to change the point in the school or not. Then you just make a sub point like that. Either of them has to dominate. Either of them has to dominate the rest or rest of the people or rest community. REST, rest, or they have to form or they have to form different nations. Different nations. See, will you? No. Coming video you have to see. You don't have to learn. Yes. Will you keep quiet? This part, this lesson is very much complicated. Unless you attend very carefully. Otherwise, it is twisted. This in politics and politics in this. Like that, it is very much confusing part. So you have to attend properly. Otherwise, you will write the wrong answer. Now, the very concept of communalism we have seen, we keep our community above others, a kind of superiority complex. So when we keep ourselves as superior, the others are inferior. But we know that in our country, so many communities live together harmoniously for a long time. But sometimes some sparks of disunity or some kind of dislike and a feeling that they are superior, this arises among the people. Because of that, they turn out to be communalist. Instead of being religious, they turn out to be communalist. Let us see what are the different aspects or different beliefs of communalists. We have seen the followers of a particular religion must belong to one community. Community. For example, why this particular concept is coming? Every religion have subdivisions. For example, Christians. Christians are divided into Catholics and Protestants basically. From among that, there are so many subdivisions. But by being a Christian, if people think that they should be one, or that community is the only community, this kind of feeling, that is, a communalist think that the people belonging to one particular religion must belong to one community. Did you get it? Protestants and Catholics, these are the examples we can take. Or among that Muslims, Sunni Muslims and Shia Muslims, they are not the only two groups. There are so many groups. So, if they began to think that they are the dominant group and others should be part of that or under them, this kind of thinking when it comes, that is a communalist thinking. Did you understand? Clear? Mind is roaming somewhere. Why? Huh? Tell. Listening, but mind is not there. Hmm? Did you understand the point? If not understood, you just tell. Anybody who did not understand, you just ask, because this concept to be made very much registered. You did not listen also. You. So, what is the thing? The followers of a particular religion. We are not talking about a group, a religion. Here, the religion is Christianity. I am just taking this example. The followers of this particular religion, whether they are into different groups, Protestants or Catholic, Protestants also 100 types of Protestants. Then another divisions are there. See, the thinking that they all should be one community. There should not be any kind of difference. That is what the first communal thinking. The followers of one religion must belong. There is a kind of restriction that they must belong to one community. Is this point clear? Now let's move to the next point. The fundamental interest are say their fundamental interest. See, by being a religious group or by being a member of the religious group, their basic interest should be same. There should not be any different interest. Is it possible? You all are sitting here. You all are having different interests. By being the part of this class, okay, we can make some restriction during the class time. Your attention should be focused on that particular subject. But I cannot stress you, your fundamental interest should be same. Your interest can be different. You all can have different interests after completing your 10th standard. You can choose different subjects. You can have a different thought about your future. So I cannot compel you. You should do like this way. So the same is a communalist thing. Their fundamental interest should be same. And another thing coming there, any difference that they may have is irrelevant or trivial for community life. Here what is going on and what you are doing. Any difference from that is irrelevant or trivial. They should not, that is not relevant. If you think in a different way, that is not relevant. It is silly, trivial, silly. You cannot think in a different way. So how can you force a person to think in the same way what other community member is thinking? So this is what a communalist think. Yes, Shivam, can you tell what are the what is the first point about the communalist think? No. What is it? No. Yom, no? Followers of one religion must belong to one religious group. One community. Yes, you next. Sorry. Tell fast. It's not writing also. Irrelevant or trivial. Okay. Did you understand that meaning of irrelevant or trivial? Okay, not relevant if you have a different thinking. Okay. Now the third point, uh, we have seen it also follows that people who follow different religion cannot belong to the same social community. In a society, you cannot stay. Nowadays, when any person search for that rental houses, some societies specifically mention this is not be given to particular religious community. Many societies it is clearly mentioned, or that building the flats will not be given for non-vegetarian people. So this kind of thinking is very much wrong. That is the choice of the people whether they live, whether they eat non-vegetarian food or not. Huh? Yes, yes, yes. It is there somehow when they are giving that ad related to that their house is going to be rented out. Some houses, some society buildings are also they are clearly mentioned that. Huh? Not that meat only. Non-vegetarian food means it include egg also. It include this thing fish, whatever is there, that is very clearly nowadays. This is what a kind of discrimination shown to certain communities. It is because I have seen so many areas this particular restriction is kept. So this kind of division on the basis of community, they themselves create. That is, in a society, they think that the people belonging to different religious groups cannot stay together. We know that in buildings, different religious group people are staying. They can live together. See, you are making friends from all the religious groups. You are not selecting like that. Okay, and this religious group means you may not be my friends. So this kind of restrictions is not good for the society. Next division is that in its extreme form, communalism leads to the belief that people belonging to different religions cannot live as equal citizens in one nation. One country, people who are having different religious thinking cannot live together. So means you go to any other country where that religion is popular. If every country start following, yes, the people who are having a particular religious belief, then why our country? That is next point is about that only secularism. Why we adopted secularism? See, the basic thinking is that people cannot live together as a nation if you have different religious thinking. Got it? Did you understand this point? Concept is clear or not? Because when you write it, you may be confused what are the communalists thinking. Okay. Now the last point in that communalism is that either of them has to dominate the rest or they have to form different nations. We know that why in Sri Lanka this kind of civil war had taken place. When majoritarian Sinhalese tried to establish their religion over others. So naturally, other people started feeling we are not the part of this country. For establishing our role in this country, we have to fight. So they will not try to go away from this nation. They will try to establish their supremacy over the other. This is how the civil war is taking place. We know, we have seen in India so many type of religious riots. First of all, the partition time, communal riot. Afterwards, many times this occur. So why this is happening? That the sentiment, the feeling inside that they are different from others, they have to come under us. Is it possible? If we are suppressing the feelings of others, it is not possible. So because of all this, a communalist person is always trying to impose their decisions upon others. Next is that what are the forms of communalism in politics? This is this much we have studied how a communalist think. Now we are going to discuss about the forms of communalism in politics. Right now, first at the point space you leave and then right. What are the forms of communalism in politics? The form, FORMS, forms of communalism in politics. Understand very carefully forms of communalism in politics. So communalism, what all forms it take in politics. So later on you will get how politics is mixed in communalism. Okay. Yesterday I have heard a news that in one of the North Indian state, especially I think UP only, one particular place, two of the councillors, that means municipal councillors were dismissed just because they are the two women councillors. They have three children. BJP councillors were dismissed because of having three children.
Yeah, because you cannot be a minister if you have more than 2 children.
So how can it be imposed upon the people? Okay, they had the three children. That was a mistake. God have given. There are so many people, so many people who are having the different. No. This is the way the communal thinking is building upon. We are living
That's
in
God
this.
has given.
God has given. Okay, whatever.
God gives. But
Now, why I told this type of sentiments make some section of the society out of. They are speaking publicly against this kind of beliefs. See, there are how many parents are not having even a single child?
Ma'am, how did you become parents?
No, parents. I am talking about the parents means that how many families are not having. Pair of people. What word? What word I should use?
Pair of people, one pair of people.
Okay. So why I told this topic means this kind of small sentiments is created, and that is finally burning into a big division. Okay. You have written forms, no? First point. Communalism can take various forms in politics. Various forms in politics. The most common form is in everyday religious ideas of the people. People often believe. Continue. Everyday beliefs is there. No? People often believe that the ideas of the religion are superior than the ideas of other religions. You just give me the book.
And the idea
When I came, I left home at 7:30, then I realized my book was in the second time. And that's why I came late.
that's why you came late.
Yes, I came late.
Superior than others religion. No? Second, next point. Next point. The demands of a religious group are against the demands of other religious group. Other religious group.
तू अचानक से तो जोर से क्यों बोलता है?
जब उसको श्योर होता है उससे सही कोई पॉइंट इसके लिए तो
Third point.
Wonderful observation.
Demands of other religious groups. Third point, ideas. Third point, ideas, comma, ideals and interests of a particular religion are given more interest. Interest, no, importance, you write. Are given more importance. Next point, people of a particular religion often want the maximum representation, want the maximum WANT, want representation you just representation of the religion in politics. They want
Next part of same.
same you right. They want elected representatives elected representatives in the political system from their religion. This results in the domination of the majority community. Next point. People of the minority community
People of
then start demanding
Just a minute.
separate
Separate.
state.
Your whole why are you becoming chemistry sir?
Normal voice.
Oh, okay. You really normal voice.
Next point. Communalism in politics. Communalism in politics sometimes take the shape of political mobilization on communal lines. Okay. Lines. Communal lines. Which involve the use of sacred religious symbols, and religious leaders' appeals Next, in its most ugly form, ugly form, communalism leads to riots and violence. Communism leads to riots and violence. See, there are so many ways the communalists think. We know that they naturally have an assumption that their religious group is the supreme and try to impose their decisions upon the others. When they try like this, it is not very easy for the others to accept it. Others also have their own sentiments. That is why it will be divided into majority and minority. They start demanding reservations. We know that in India, the worst form of this communal tension is because of the reservation. Every group start trying to get a reserved seats. By getting reserved seats, some of the communities numbers are more and they turned out to be majority, and some of the others numbers are less. So it will be a rift between the majority and the minority. All the communal tension started from this only. The idea of dividing the people on communal lines. Then there is the way of political mobilization. What is political mobilization? Some movements are being started by certain communities. We know that the demand for Maratha reservation. Maratha reservation. I'm not against that. You don't think that. I'm just telling an example of the recent revolt. So,
Fighting, ma'am.
don't fight. Is it a communal fight? Huh? You did not understand what is coming. We are talking about communalism. That is why I asked the question. So, Maratha demand for separate reservation first, and then there may be a demand for separate state. So this way, slowly, when they started feeling that they are alienated, their demands are not considered. So every small community group started feeling it can take the form of communalism. Otherwise, originally they are not having any communal feeling. When one tried to suppress other, so that turned out to be communism. Then we have seen that the religious or sacred symbols or religious symbols began to be used. At the same time, religion is brought on the forefront. In many states, I have told about that Christianity once. The Christianity also so many divisions are there, and these divisions started fighting for the domination. We were the first. Yes, can you tell which one came first? Mango tree or mango?
Mango tree and mango.
Mango.
Without
Mango tree.
Then how can we
without mango, how
Ma'am,
can you grow the
mango
tree?
came first.
Mango seed.
He told mango, then he told mango tree.
कहाँ से बोलो randomly से?
हम लोग अगर पैसा डालेंगे तो
अगर direct mango बोलो tree, पर tree आया.
See, okay.
This
This way only issues are starting. See, I just put it okay. Which one came
Mango
first?
seed.
Mango seed.
First we got seed. Then we pour water. Then
There was no mother plant. Mango seed was made with the mango.
Okay.
Mango is
So, then also mother plant how?
So the seed. Ma'am, it's seed.
Seed.
Seed. Ma'am,
Big mango.
seed will grow. Then it will grow. Right? It will grow. Mango will grow. खुद ऐसे ऐसे कर रही है हम करें तो सबका
You just correct their argument is coming, then I will give you time for answer.
Ma'am, there was a seed. It evolved into the mango.
वो कहाँ से आया?
अरे तो seed कहाँ से आया?
वो खरीद के लाया मैं जिधर से भी
अरे
लाया
original normal seed. वो seed does not contain word.
Original seed वही तो
It became a mango का seed. Then a mango का seed like bird. Someone dropped it.
वो आम खाने वो बर्ड खाया आम सब वही ना
Yes,
मैम आम खाओ ना बुझ जाए तो
this way only.
वही तो सीड होता है
Okay, enough. Topic is over. I want to tell this way only communist rivalries also emerged. Without any reason, they started fighting over the religion. Yeah. We cannot get a solution for that. We go on. If listen,
क्यों एप्पल से नहीं पढ़ा
if will okay topic, we are not going to fight over. Okay.
वाटरमेलन
Order.
ऑर्डर डिसोबे
Topic, no, not to disagree. I just wanted
I'm old man.
to make you to understand communist rivalries are taking place. Just like that only, a small dispute can turn into a violent topic, and it finally lead to the division. And later on, we can see. Have you heard about the Khalistan event?
Yes.
You can be controlled only by asking people right. If any topic for interesting discussion purpose limit is brought up, go on talking and shouting. I have told about this Khalistan movement.
हम शुभ शुभम शुभ नाम शुभम is Khalistan
See,
yeah
this demand started long back. 1980s it started. A group of 1980s or before that, 1975, that time onwards, the Sikh community from Punjab started demanding a separate country for them.
but Khalistan
You just listen, I'm telling. So Khalistan state, that means a separate country for Sikhs. It become very much violent, and they started forming big organizations. Shiromani Agali Gurudwara Prabandhak Committee, like that. Different organizations, just like in Sri Lanka, groups were there, that is violent terrorist groups like that, they started forming. And there were so many. I have told you something. If you want to hear some interesting facts about what happened in India so many years back, you are not interested means I will stop and I will tell you to continue. Then what you are listening? So many violent revolts happened, and it turned out to be terrorist groups formed inside India. And finally, these groups become very active, and we know that they are allowed to use kripan and all. In the pretext of that, they started using that swords and all. So that way, they organized themselves into a big organization, and their movement was against the government because they want only one country for them, separate country, including that western part, eastern part of Punjab. Means that particular part and nearby, all the, where all the Sikh groups are there. Finally, the government so many times called the leaders for talks. They were not ready to have talks. They have only one demand: a separate state. And the government, at that time, Indira Gandhi was the prime minister. She decided to put an end to that, and she sent the army to that Golden Temple. They were inside that, the terrorist groups were inside. Gurudwara, its name is Golden Temple, no? Okay, so that incident was known as Operation Blue Star. Means all those people who were inside were flushed out by the army. After that, that is all the terrorists were flushed out, and then they had talks with Longowal, the one of the leaders. So they made agreement, India government that made agreement with them, and finally that problem was settled. But that root, that seed of the demand for Khalistan not ended. Very recently, last year, it happened. One of the leader, Khalistan leader, was killed in Canada.
And Canadian government blamed it on India.
Yes.
And now India and Canada no longer have foreign relations.
So this is what now. A small seed of rivalry can lead to big violence and riots and separatist sentiments. Clear? Now next point. What are the limitations of communalism? Right? No. This one, no. They don't want to hear it. They want to write. Force them to write. What are the limitations? Right? What are the limitations of communalism?
What are the limitations of community?
First point, communal politics. Politics believes that the people belonging to different religions have different ideas and demands. There cannot be any common. There cannot be any common interest between them. Next, people from people from different religions. Different religions are supposed to form
Different people.
people from different religions. Different religions are supposed. People from different religions are supposed to form different communities. Their ideas and continue. Their ideas and demands are bound to be different, are expected to be different, bound to be different. Next point. This is not correct. You just write, this is not correct. In reality, as it is not necessary. It is not necessary that people of the same religion have to whom you are showing like this. No, don't write that one. He was just showing that he is writing but not writing. That is same religion have identical interests and demands. Same religion have identical interest and demands. Identical means the same interest and demands. People may have. You can continue along. People may have different ideas. People may have different ideas. The demands of the people depends upon the demands of the people.
We have different ideas, but next point.
The demands of the people depends upon
the demands of the
people depends upon the role they play in the society. The role they play in the society. It also based on the position and status. Position and status. It also based on the position and status they enjoyed in the society, not on the religion they follow, not position and status in the society, not on the basis of religion. Clear? Previous part of role they play, then position and status, but not on the religion. See, we are talking about the limitations. We have studied a community. Who is teaching you? Just listen for some. If you are not interested in the, also you have to study the subject. Is there any exemption? Without study you can pass. So attend for
Political science.
English.
Lots of this subject.
Okay.
ये बहुत सारे ये जब तक पॉलिटिकल
What you are writing possession and all. It is about the position, the rank. Yes. Position.
position
You wrote it like that, then am I responsible for that? Say, listen for some time. We have learned how a communalist think. At the same time, there are some limitations. The communalist thinking. Yes. Can you come forward and explain what are the limitations? Come forward. Come forward. Yes, get up. Come. Get up and come. If you are sitting, then it is a nice. You also. No, I am not telling you whether you write or not. You were not listening, not even a single sentence you are able to answer. Today, whatever is taught, not even a single sentence or a part of the sentence you are able to answer. Just morning coming and sitting, थोड़ा मस्ती करके चले जाते हैं. Is there any meaning? Make use of the time. Who can tell about the limitations? Please.
I believe it was.
People of different communities have different beliefs, so they cannot all be united and live together. But in reality, people of the same community also have different beliefs based on how the level in the society, like how much money they have or what are they want, need, and everything. People from the same community also have different beliefs and wants and needs based on their position and not based on their religion.
Okay, you understood like that. Can anyone give any example for that?
Limitations.
Limitations. SCST.
Caste.
Yes. Can you give an example? Try. Hmm? Anyone?
Some communities are not allowed to stay in particular building.
I'm not going to tell this example. Limitations example I am asking. See, limitation when we are telling voting right, no. See, you just think about that your members in a political party. If we think that that particular party is belonging to one particular religious community, all the people from that religious community be the member of that. Take the example of Muslim League. That's a party basically for Muslims. Okay. So all those members of that Muslims be the member of Muslim League. Do you think like that? No, it is not compulsory that all the people, all the Muslim people should be the member of Muslim League.
I think they prefer Muslim people. Like they're supposed to be Muslim. They were not all Muslim.
All are not having, no. And it is up to the
उसने फिर बोला कि मुस्लिम people prefer other Muslim people.
अच्छा
मैंने कुछ और मैंने बोला
मैम limitations.
So why should I do
that if this thought that BJP has a Janata Party as a Hindu political party, if you are thinking
That's a bit.
all Hindus are not the members, even the Muslims are members of that BJP. Understood? Yes. So this way, it is not compulsory that all the religious people should have same thought, same actions and all. It is up to them, the personal interest. We cannot compel somebody's interest upon others. So that is what. Here, if we are expecting if you are expecting that one political party is having that particular religious community as its members, all the members are not, or all members of that religion are not the members of that political party. They may have different interests, different likes and all. And another thing is that it is according to the role they play, according to the status they enjoy, they behave. See, if a political leader is brought before and called for settling a dispute, then they are not expected to settle the dispute on the basis of that his religious community. He is called to settle the dispute as the representative of that organization or like. He cannot side with his religious group. So his role is that he is the head of that political party, or he is the head of something. But his role he has to keep and then take the decision. It is not based on his religious thinking, or he or she is not expected to behave in that manner. Clear? Understood? It is based on the status, role in the society, and based on that position, status, and the role. Okay. Now, you might have heard about the term secularism. Okay. Who is having the textbook with us?
Can we display on that PC? Yes, ma'am, can you show video? Ma'am, can you open the XRD textbook? Ma'am, video.
I am having. Give, I will take. That is the textbook, no? You write this question. Communalism. Sorry. Why constitution makers no the question only why constitution makers choose to have a secular state in India. Secular state.
State in India.
Or secular state. That much is of India is not required. That is choose to have a secular state.
In India would be a particular.
Okay. Secular state. And what are the second part? What are the provisions of?
Continue.
What are the provisions of the secular state? This can be asked. So first part you have to write what is why we choose to have. Second is that what are the features of it? What are the provisions? Right, I am dictating. Communalism was. I am dictating the answer. Communalism was and continues to be one of the major challenges to democracy in our country. The constitution makers were aware of this challenge.
Challenge.
Talent.
That is why they chose the model of a secular state. Okay, first part you have to write this much. Communalism was and remained to be a challenge to democracy. So they know that it will continue. So in order to prevent that communalism to be a challenge, they adopted secularism. Okay, now the second part. First point. There is no official religion. First point. From the second part, what are the provisions? No? So first point, there is no official religion for Indian state. Second point, the constitution provides to all individuals and communities freedom to profess, 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 practice,
Profess, profession में profess.
practice,
Profess के बाद ना
practice and propagate. Propagate any religion or not to follow any. Not to follow any. Now third point. The constitution prohibits discrimination on grounds of religion. Next point, religion. Next point, the constitution allows the state to intervene in the matters of religion, state to intervene, VENE, intervene in the matters of religion in order to establish equality within religious communities. Equality within religious communities. Example, it ban untouchability.
Untouchability.
Okay, one more question you write.
No, ma'am.
You don't tell that is I want to complete also. This way, statement type of question can come. You write secularism. Question. Secularism is not just an ideology, of some parties or persons.
Some parties or
Persons.
huh?
Persons.
Persons.
That much in inverted commas, that statement. Explain.
I will write this.
Your own you will write.
Yes,
Tell. You have to show me fully. That is before I go. I will stay at a break time. You have to write and show me. Today's that work you did not complete. You wrote something here and there. Understood? Full part you get to my signature, then only you will continue in next period. Whoever did not complete, you just show me. Otherwise, I will tell that sir to make you to stand outside. I will wait for 15 minutes, then only I will. Understood? You also have it. Everyone should get my signature. Then those who are not.
My work is complete.
That means I will sign and go. Okay. This one you will do as homework
Yes, ma'am.
because board questions are coming from inside statements. Sentences will be framed into questions, and that is why reading of the textbook is must. Are you listening? Text your every subject is like that. Don't depend on that back question, and we are not having that way back questions. Up to 9th standard, anything could have worked. But the 10th standard board questions are framed from that paragraphs. That is why I am deeply going into that. I am depending on the textbook also for that. Understood? From the textbook only this question is framed and you must write this as homework. Next class when you are coming, you have to submit. So don't think that okay, we will not come, so no need to show. Don't think like that. Please. It's for you, it's not for me. If you are studying, this lesson is the hardest lesson because it is very difficult to understand the concept. You are getting confused. The limitation is the theory, what it is, what is the belief, what is the practice. Okay, so that is why. Now, why secularism is adopted?
Really equality to all the religions.
All the religions. Okay. Yes. Yes. Communalism remained as a problem, and they think that it will be a challenge for our democracy. For that purpose, constitution makers, while drafting itself, thought that India should be a secular country. We know that there is an attempt now going on to remove this base of secularism and to establish that majority religion. So that is not the constitution makers. They have foreseen in future this type of problems may arise. So our country should be a secular country. For establishing secular country, 4 principles have been established. Yes, can you tell the first principle for establishing secular country? You tell. You don't listen. What are the conditions included in that or provisions included in the constitution for establishing secularism? 4 points I have given you. There is no official religion. Many countries are formed as religious based countries. Means Pakistan, Islamic Republic. So, many countries are formed as religious based countries, but India is a secular country.
Communication. To constitution.
Rescue system.
No, ma'am, communication. अरे communication है वो communication one mistake only.
One humble rescue system. Please improve your handwriting.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, handwriting of the one people now. Ma'am is writing.
Not, I am talking about your paper.
Ma'am is writing. No, this so
I am talking.
yes,
Improve your handwriting. Okay. What is the second way?
The constitution provides to
all
individual and community freedom from say practice and propagate any religion or
Not to follow. What is the name used for a person who is not having any religion? Atheist. Atheist is the person who is not believing in any religion. So, according to the constitution, a person can be an atheist also. Okay. Yes, you tell the third one. No discrimination. Yes. What are the constitutional provisions? What are the constitutional provisions for establishing a secular state?
There is no official union. The Constitution provides all individuals and communities freedom to progress, practice, and propagate any religion or not to follow anyone.
No one is going now. Let me sign and let go. It's going to be completed.
Exactly, website पे रहता है। अब ये भी पता नहीं कहाँ है। नया था क्लास में। मैम
I'm not completed.
You show me. You have to write and show me. No, that's also you just write actually.